Hey, it's me, Albert, with Two Tribes Primal Living,
Hey, Nikki.
and kind of wanted to come to you guys today, make this video, and give you a little background of who we are, what we're about, um, perhaps a little background on our spiritual side of things, and how the spiritual part it played into us being out here off grid and kind of seeking our ancestral roots in a sense. So me, I I associate with the Native American blood line in my lineage of the Hecadian Apaches, which people would call Apaches. Um, but being Native American, when we first met, um, we kind of had some similarities in our spiritual beliefs and kind of our spiritual journey, and it kind of is what brought us out here in a sense. And she'll share a little bit with you about her lineage and her what she identifies with the most.
Well, it's similar, a tribal heritage, if you will. Um, Swedish Norwegian. I really identify mostly with the Norwegian side, although there's a sprinkling of Irish and a sprinkling of German in there. But the Swedish Norwegian is really where I tend to. I would say I don't like to use the word identify, but that's what I'm authentic with. That's what I resonate with, and just like the Apache or the Native American, it was a tribal group of people with a chieftain, and so very similar in terms of the tribal connections and lifestyle.
Yeah. So when we met, we kind of, I mean, that's one of the things that you talk about when you meet somebody new, is the spirituality aspect of it. And I had journeyed from a small child all the way to then I was raised Catholic. I was an altar boy. I did all the Catholic things. I went to CCD classes, and I got baptized, and I had my first communion, and then I had my confirmation, and I did everything I could to try to set forth the example that my parents had put for us. My mom was pretty Catholic. She had all the candles and the Virgin Mary and statues of Jesus everywhere, and the rosary and all that stuff. But as I got older, it kind of didn't make sense to me. So there was this confusion of why do I not feel like this is part of who I am or who I'm meant to be. So growing up, I ended up in a non-denominational mega church, and I was there for 7 years. I spent 7 years seeing if that was the way that the non-denominational Jesus route. I was a youth leader. I was over 400 kids, teenagers in a youth ministry for several years, and in other aspects of ministry, with from the TV to playing in a band, to I did everything I could to offer up my service. And Nikki kind of had a similar upbringing as well too. But for me, that didn't even resonate. Something just didn't seem right, and I had never been introduced to my heritage, or to my heritage's spirituality. So she's going to share with you a little bit about her experience of growing up.
Similar to Albert's, but I grew up not Catholic. I grew up in a Southern Baptist. It wasn't a Southern Baptist home, but my grandmother, we spent a lot of time every Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesdays, GAs, all kinds of activities within the church. And we were raised that way. My mom wasn't. She was pretty open about letting us make choices, but that was the kind of the expectation what my grandmother had on us to attend church. That we did. It was in that church that it just wasn't comfortable. And when we moved on to another city, joined a church, and similar. I remember getting involved with the youth group extensively as a teenager, and had some pretty eye-opening experiences in the youth group. It did not set well with me. Kind of took some time off from it, got back to church, got involved as a volunteer with a youth group similar to Albert. I didn't run 400 kids, but it was again, it just didn't resonate with me. There was a calling within me that was so much deeper, but I was doing things that were socially appropriate. Maybe is not maybe not the best way to say it, but it seemed to be, oh, you are in a church, good, you're okay. So that just didn't sit well within my soul. And I had a lot of experiences that were tumultuous in those times as well. And then whenever, before Albert and I had met, I had a pretty traumatic experience. And it really just sent me back into myself to really find out authentically who I am. And that's about the time, I was coming into that space and met Albert. And so, like he said, we had some conversations about who who we were down deep in the soul and spirituality. So that's kind of my journey to where we are in this conversation.
Yeah. So, through that journey, I mean, this is a lifetime of experience where you grow up as a small child, and then you get old enough to make your own decisions about what to believe in, and it's not being crammed down your throat by your parents, but society and its ways of cramming stuff down your throat happens. So when I kind of broke away from the church, similar to her, there was trauma. There was a horrific experience that occurred, and when the soul or the emotions or even the mind experiences any kind of trauma, it sends it into this protect and search mode. It's like, okay, if this isn't working out like this, and this isn't working out the way it's supposed to, and I'm told that if I do these things are going to be certain ways, it's kind of, you kind of end up questioning the whole mainstream religion, Christianity things, which is what I ended up doing. I ended up, leaning towards the Native American side, and that was a pretty tricky situation because it happened while I was still involved in the church, and they didn't like it. It ended up being a situation where I was called into an office and said, hey, if you're going to be doing these things, or you're going to be teaching these kids these things and not the way we're trying to tell you, then to do it, then you can't be a leader anymore. And I was like, for me, that was like confirmation that, okay, something's wrong here, something is not right here. And I know I went through the whole thing. That's just one church, or that's just one pastor. No, I saw a lot. I saw a lot in the years that I was there. I was behind the scenes. I heard a lot, and things just didn't make sense to me the way they were supposed to. I never, talk about it to other people, but the things that I saw behind the scenes were very questionable, and they rose. They caused a lot of questions to arise in me.
When you say behind the scenes, you were actually running camera, filming
yeah,
church services and things.
I was an engineer for the TV show that we broadcasted, so I had a lot of insight. I had a lot of things that regular people don't see who are sitting in the audience, so I knew a lot of things. But in me, I question everything. I'm just as I said in a previous video, I want to know who's behind the curtain, what's behind the curtain, why this is happening, why this works the way this does. So I question everything, and that's just my nature. is to question everything and not be told this is the way it is, this is the way it's supposed to be. So I'll let her ramble a little bit, and we're going to get into how the spirituality part of it ended us up out here in the middle of nowhere.
Well, yeah, I guess it did. It did. Yeah, so similar, not as much behind the scenes. My journey was a little different, but I had some experiences, like I said earlier, as a teenager, involved in a Baptist youth group, and we were forced into, and there were some videos we were forced to watch. There were some gatherings we were kind of not, I won't say coerced, but highly encouraged. It was very disconcerting for me, because you're vulnerable when you're a teen, and then those carry forward into your young adult life. With the trauma I experienced as a young girl, the mantra, if you will, of the whole Christianity side of things for me was, either you're not praying enough, or you're not doing this enough, or give it to God, or give it to here, or pray more, or do these things, or you need to fast, or there's so many. I mean, it was that's not just one church, that was many churches. And my life, although I gave myself completely to the church, my life was not changing. I was told to walk away and just let go of the trauma, which, as I found out as an adult, is kind of counterintuitive to what we're supposed to do. To heal it, you have to feel it, and that is across the board. You can't just put feelings aside. You have to embrace what has occurred so that you can heal and move forward. And that didn't happen. So again, those carried forward into the adult experience. And church was always part of, and I'm not dissing the church at all. Everybody gathers in the way they gather. But I went to college. I got my undergraduate degree from a private Baptist university where Bible study was part of the curriculum. And then I went to a Catholic master or graduate school for my master's or my MBA. And again, as an intellectual, education, upbringing, all these things, the church was part of every ounce of my fabric. But even within the church and even within college, our professors, most of them were ordained ministers or priests or pastors. And I remember one coming in, and he was supposed to preach Christianity, but he opened up my eyes as a 30-year-old and showed me that it's within you. We are all on the same journey spiritually. We are all walking a very similar path spiritually. It's whether or not we respect and recognize that everybody's on their path to get to the same destination.
Yeah, so with that being said, I mean, we're not trying to convince or convert or
No.
even downgrade religion or Christianity or any of that.
Well, even within atheist societies, you have negativity.
It didn't resonate with us as soulful people, as spiritual people, so when you're on a spiritual quest, you start asking questions that normally you're afraid to ask.
Yeah.
Because the front story of this whole conversation so far is about the influence that society and religion has on a soul, and I think it's more from a mental standpoint more than a spiritual standpoint. For me, it was more mental, because I can remember sitting around looking, going, I wonder if all these people here are questioning whether or not there really is a God or not, the way that this is explained to us. So, that led me down to a spiritual awakening, where I was able to start questioning things and researching and looking further into history as far as the cultures of the tribal cultures, the cultures that existed before here on this land and on her ancestors' land before Christianity
Yeah.
was brought in. So when you start pulling away the layers of all the propaganda of religion and the dogma of religion, you start to find out that there was a lot of things in history that happened that really nobody talks about. You know, there were the tribal people, and I don't care if you're Irish, I don't care if you're Aboriginal, I don't care if you're Celtic, Native American, Viking. I don't care what tribal ancestry you come from.
The core is the same.
They were decimated. They were destroyed. They were forced into extinction of their own religious practices, so that this new religion could come in and teach them how to live. And a lot of the old ways were abandoned, and those old ways were.
Well, when you say the old ways were abandoned, they took the Native American children, and that was because it's closer, and they put them into what we would call
they were assimilated. They were
assimilation schools.
Yeah, they were assimilation schools, and they were taught. You know, it was the slogan was "Kill the Indian, save the man," and that was literally the agenda back then. And you know, when you start looking at what happened with history, what happened with let's say William Wallace. William Wallace was a tribal person. His clan, and that's where their clan comes from. The tribe, the clan. You know, they speak of clans and tribes in the Bible as well too. You know, those are all the people who were murdered and forced into this new way of seeing spirituality. And for us, you know, me seeking into the Native American roots and going, ooh, this is cool shit. You know, I feel right about this. I feel right connecting to the earth. I feel right when somebody tells me that the earth is our mother, and that these stars and the moons are our brothers and sisters, and that we are all connected. And you know, science, you know, when you get into quantum physics, and you get into the quantum field, and you get into the metaphysical aspect of things, you start opening up spiritually. And it's like, what do you mean I have all the power? What do you mean the power that the sun, the moon, the stars, the sky, the gods, the angels, the demons, everything that exists right here within me, the same as it exists out there. And she has the you know, being from completely different backgrounds and coming to the same conclusion. You know, I don't think that's coincidence. And I don't think that it's coincidence that there was pyramids scattered out throughout the earth. And
whether it was Mayan or Egyptian or other cultures, they had pyramids.
You know, her people honored the earth. Her people honored, you know, nature and balance and understood.
Through ceremony, through dance, through you know, what we would call prayer today, but it's you know, it is the trees, it's the sky. When I have to cut a tree, I say a little prayer for the tree, to honor the land.
And where is center? Where is center for your people?
Nature.
Nature.
Absolutely.
Center. When you're lost, and when you're
nature.
There's no way for you to figure out a solution. You can always look to nature, and the answers are always in nature. They are always there. Yes. It doesn't matter if you can't pay your bills. I guarantee you there's a lesson in nature that will help you to understand, because everything was put here for us. Everything was put here for us to live as free people and to not have to pay taxes. You know, we are the only species in this galaxy that pays to live on a planet. We literally have to pay to live on a planet. But that's all part of that tax and tithe thing that the royal families and the popes and the aristocrats brought to the peasants, or the savages, or the pagans, or whatever we were called back then.
Labels.
The labels that we were given. But you know, we're free people. We are going to um, seek our spirituality, not in the sense of a book or a sermon.
No, a soul. It's you seek the spirit. You seek spiritual. Um, all the answers are in nature, yes, but all the answers are inside of you, as within, so without, as above, so below. Um, all the answers are right here. And so you'll hear me say a lot of times in my writing, reflect. We are reflecting. How do you self-reflect? This morning I wrote on the full moon that's coming up, and I wrote about self-reflection. Our tribal connections, both Native American, Celtic, Viking, they go inside, whether it's going into the forest alone for a couple of weeks, whether it's going into a teepee until you've sweated and you've
Had a vision.
You've had a vision, and that's when you can come out. But those answers are within. All the visions are within. They're not without. The guides are within. The way is within. And so out here, you only have within to go. He said it yesterday in a video. If there's conflict between us two, you have to forgive very quickly. But when there is conflict, you have to go within. I don't have anyone to talk to. I don't have anyone to pick up the phone and call and say, oh my gosh, do you believe what he did? He doesn't have anyone to call and say, oh my gosh, she acted like this.
I don't say, oh my gosh.
No, you don't. Hey guys.
No, but anyway, the whole thing is the entire time I was growing up, the entire time she was growing up, there was not one pastor, there was not one parishioner, not one brother, not one sister, not one deacon, nobody, and I can attest for this, for anybody who is going through the cycle of religion right now. There is nobody going to tell you that all the power in the universe lies within you. You are a God. You are a creator. You have the power to create a new existence for yourself, which is why we are out here. We are out here creating a new existence for ourselves.
For ourselves.
We are the creators of our world.
Yes.
We do not fear death. Most people on this planet fear death.
Absolutely.
For the Native Americans, it was to journey into the spirit world. For the Vikings, where did you guys go?
Well, Valhalla, if you were one of the few and selected warriors.
And that was those were places of honor.
Yes.
Energy does not disappear. Energy, which is what we're made of, just it transfers. It changes. And we are pure energy. We are pure divine energy. The same energy that created this universe, the same energy that created this forest that we're sitting in, the same energy that created the mountains that surround us, created us. And it also gave us the ability to become creators as well. And I never was told that.
No, we're not told that.
No, you have to journey and find that within yourself. And you have to journey to find truth. I mean, just truth and what do you say? Authenticity.
Authenticity.
Those are the highest vibrating frequencies in existence. Love, truth, and authenticity. When you have a concept of those things, and you have a concept that you are the center of existence, and you are a creator, and you are not a victim, and you are not a beggar that begs to spirit to do things for you, you can pretty much speak what you want to bring in existence. And I know I've heard this in church. I know I've heard it sitting in a pew. I know I've heard it, but they don't tell you how. They don't tell you how it works. They kind of give you a little taste of how to do it, and they give the power and they take it away at the same time, because when you don't understand that you're the creator, you give that power to a spirit that is looking at you going, you have all the power yourself. Why are you not doing it? Why are you not creating it? So, in my journey, that's what I've learned. She's going to conclude this video with her journey and what she's learned through this journey.
Well, as part of healing, and we're all on a journey to heal. Every single soul on this planet is born into this world with a journey to heal as part of their journey. And so some people experience childhood issues, some people experience all through life issues. And until you can heal, you can't really walk your journey without major obstacles. So part of healing and part of walking is authenticity. And that's the soul, that's within. The authentic self is the self I like to call the self when no one else is looking. The self, who am I naked and alone kind of thing. My authentic self. How do I react to this? How do I react to this? Am I triggered by this? Am I triggered by this? What types of mental self-talk do I practice? I screwed up again, I'm always making mistakes. Here I am. I need to keep my mouth shut. That's self-talk. And we're conditioned in that self-talk by what other people around us say to us. And so when you align authentically from within and practice authenticity, you don't need someone else to tell you on your journey that you're going the right way, that you're on the right path. You already know. It's already there because you're authentic. There's no, I'm doing it with love. I'm not going my own way because I'm bigger and better and no, I'm going because that's my path. And I've shared that same philosophy with all my children. And as part of the healing, the authenticity has helped me completely, and even out here, peel off what others thought I should be and become who I am. I'm not a name. I'm not Nikki. I'm not a graduate student or have an MBA. I mean, those are not who I am. I'm not a coach. I'm not this. I'm not a woman. I'm me. I'm authentic. And so those things are just the experience that I've had as a soul. And so here I sit in nature with my husband, recognizing that we are each on our individual path or journey. However, we have, as husband and wife, been given a special journey together that many husband and wives do not have. And that means that we have to not only be authentic with ourselves and heal ourselves, but as a couple, we must be authentic as a couple and heal as a couple so that we can provide or do the service that we are here to do as a couple. I call it a power couple. But that being said, everybody is on the same path, the same progress or journey to the same end. It's just we all are coming to that journey from different backgrounds, from different experiences. And some of us will never even make the journey to its end because we take an out, or we give up, or we don't recognize it. But as far as that spiritual journey goes, I recognize that we have to be authentic and we have to heal so that we're not triggered by things and so that we're not upset by things. So we've come really far in that as a couple. So that being said, we are where we are. So as far as our journey, as far as my journey, as far as spirituality, authenticity, as he said earlier, is where it's at.
So what ends up happening, and the message that we wanted to put through on this video is that we're all in this together. We all are part of the same creation, the same creator, the same universe, whether it's God or the Great Spirit or um, Odin, any of the gods that have ever existed. When I look at another human being, I'm looking at a reflection of myself, and when somebody else looks at me, they're looking at a reflection of themselves in me. The energy that keeps us all together and keeps the universe together is the power that we have as a people. You know, even through this crisis, even through this testing time, you know, we have to remember that we are the power. We don't have to give our power to a spirit or to a government or to anybody else. We are the creators of our new world. We are the creators of any world that we see that is fit for us to live in. And when we start giving that power away through prayers that aren't beneficial to spirituality and ideas and ideologies and we give our power away and that's exactly what has gotten us into this situation right now is that we've given our power away at the at the mercy of need. You know, we get needy. We feel like we don't have everything that we deserve, so we pray our power away, and we give it. We give other spirits the energy to reign over us. And, you know, in spirituality, finding out what spirituality really is and understanding that spirituality is a journey and it's not an event. It's not a it's not something that you can just sit in the mountains and cross your legs and meditate like you see on TV or on the internet. And it's something that you go within yourself and you find. So we're going to wrap this video up. And we just want you to know that we are thinking about everything everybody's going through out there, and you're in our meditations, you're in our prayers, you're part of our creation as well too, and we're hoping to create a better world along with those who are doing the same thing. So like, subscribe,
Follow us.
take care.
Bye.